Do you have the courage to confront what others ignore? In the next few moments, you'll either tune out or lean in closer. Those who stay will be forever changed. Are you ready to find out where you stand? You are not one of the many. You are the chosen, the elect. The echoes of Matthew chapter 22 verse 14 are a constant in your mind. For many are called, but few are chosen. This verse is not a gentle whisper, but a thunderous proclamation, one that shakes the very foundations of your soul. You have been summoned, not by mere circumstance, but by the Creator of all things. This is not a moment to falter. It is a command to rise. The universe itself has conspired in your favor, aligning every star, every molecule, to this point in time. But the question that reverberates in the silence is clear and undeniable. Have you truly answered the call that has been issued from the heights of eternity? The world around you may seem unchanged, but you know better. The very air you breathe is charged with purpose, every breath a testament to the divine plan that has been set into motion. You are not here to drift through life like a leaf on the wind. You are here to carve your path through the fabric of existence, to leave a mark that will never fade. This is your moment of truth, your divine appointment. Will you step into the role that has been written for you since the beginning of time? Or will you let the opportunity slip through your fingers like sand? This is not just another day. This is the day when everything changes, when the scales fall from your eyes and you see the world for what it truly is. You are not here by accident. You are here because you have been chosen. The time for hesitation is over. The time for action is now. The Creator has issued the call. The only question left is whether you will answer it. The misconception of divine calling has led many to believe that a single moment of revelation is the pinnacle of their spiritual journey. This lie is insidious, wrapping itself in comfort and the false assurance that the initial calling is the entirety of what God demands of you. You felt that first tug on your soul, a powerful sensation that might have come during a moment of solitude or amid a crisis that drove you to your knees. That experience was intense, almost overwhelming, and you might have mistaken it for the culmination of your purpose. But let me tell you the truth. That was merely the beginning, a whisper compared to the roaring command that awaits you. You are not called to sit idly by, basking in the afterglow of that initial encounter. No, your calling is an active, relentless demand for your full participation in the divine plan. This is not a journey of rest and ease. It is one of unyielding obedience, where your faith is not just tested, but forged in the fires of trials that you cannot yet comprehend. You are expected to rise, to engage, and to move forward with the full weight of heaven pressing upon your soul, demanding action, courage, and an unwavering trust in the God who called you. Look at Abram, who would become Abraham, the father of nations. His call in Genesis chapter 12 was not an end, but a beginning, a terrifying departure from everything he knew. Abram was not given a roadmap or a detailed plan. He was given a command to leave his country, his people, and his father's household, to abandon all that was familiar and step into the abyss of the unknown. His faith was not merely an internal belief, but a physical act of stepping out, a radical obedience that echoed through the corridors of history. You are no different. The call you received was not meant to anchor you in place, but to propel you into the unknown, to tear you from the comfort of the familiar and thrust you into the divine adventure that only the truly chosen can endure. So I ask you, will you be like Abram? Will you stand at the precipice, heart pounding with the terror and thrill of the unknown, and take that first step into the vast and terrifying promise that God has set before you? The choice is yours, but understand this. The call was never meant to be the destination. It was the invitation to a journey that will demand everything you are. Distractions are the silent assassins of your divine calling, lurking in the mundane and waiting to ensnare your soul. The daily grind, those relentless demands of work, family, and finances, can subtly yet powerfully erode the fire that once burned brightly within you. You find yourself drowning in deadlines, suffocated by obligations, and burdened by the relentless pursuit of security. These distractions do not come with blaring alarms, but with a slow, insidious fade, where the call of God becomes a distant echo, barely heard above the cacophony of your responsibilities. You might think you're managing well, juggling the immediate demands with a semblance of balance, but that's the very deception. The devil doesn't come dressed in red horns. He comes in the form of busyness, obligations, and the never-ending to-do list. Over time, the passion you once had, that divine spark, is buried beneath the rubble of the life you thought you were building. The seed planted in your heart, meant to grow and flourish, is choked by the thorns of this world's cares, just as Christ warned in Matthew chapter 13, verse 22. Now consider this scenario. You're deep in the throes of a high-powered corporate meeting, the kind where every decision you make could shift the entire course of your career. The stakes are monumental, and the pressure is crushing. As you fixate on the immediate demands before you, the once thunderous voice of God starts to fade, reduced to a mere whisper. The intensity of the moment swallows your attention, and in the pursuit of worldly success, that divine whisper becomes almost inaudible. But then, amidst the chaos, a sharp pang strikes, an unshakable reminder of a purpose far greater than any title or accolade the world could offer. But here's the harsh truth. If you allow these distractions to persist, they will not merely delay your calling, they will destroy it. You must confront this reality with the ferocity it demands. What are the distractions that have ensnared you? What responsibilities have you allowed to overshadow your divine mission? You cannot afford to delay. The time to act is now. With the power of God, you must cut away the thorns before they suffocate the very purpose you were created for. Temptation is the devil's sharpest tool, crafted to strike when you are most vulnerable. He knows your weaknesses better than you do and waits for the perfect moment to exploit them. Just as Jesus was tempted after fasting for 40 days, the enemy will come at you when your strength is waning, when the demands of life have drained you. But Jesus did not fall. He was armed with the Word of God, a sword sharper than any earthly weapon. The question is, are you similarly equipped? When temptation comes to your doorstep, will you stand firm or will you crumble because you neglected to prepare yourself? Spiritual laziness is the slow poison that kills your soul, one day at a time. You might find yourself exhausted after a long day, the Bible sitting untouched on your nightstand, its pages gathering dust. You tell yourself, I'll read it tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into days, then weeks, until the fire within you starts to fade, flickering weakly, where it once blazed with the fervor of divine purpose. Your spiritual senses, once keen and alert, become dulled, leaving you vulnerable to the subtle whispers of the enemy, who delights in your complacency. As you sleep, your spirit is pulled into a vivid dream, not of peaceful slumber, but of a battlefield where your spiritual armor, once gleaming and impenetrable, is now worn and tattered, barely holding against the relentless onslaught of dark forces. The shield of faith is chipped, the sword of the Spirit hangs limp in your hand, and the helmet of salvation teeters precariously. You wake up with a jolt, your heart pounding, knowing deep within that this dream is no mere figment of imagination, but a divine warning. It's a message from the Almighty, urging you to rise, to strengthen your spiritual defenses before it's too late. Now is the time to shake off the shackles of spiritual complacency. You must rise from your slumber and don the full armor of God, as outlined in Ephesians chapter 6. The battle is not tomorrow, it's today, right now. The forces against you are relentless, and they will not wait for you to be ready. If you fail to act, you risk losing everything. The calling, the purpose, the very soul that God has entrusted to you. Do not wait another moment. Arm yourself, fight with renewed vigor, and reclaim the fire that was once yours. Fear and doubt are the silent killers of your divine calling, creeping in like thieves in the night to steal your purpose, your destiny, and your very soul. They whisper insidious lies, convincing you that you are not enough, that you are unworthy, that the mission God has placed in your hands is too grand for someone like you. Who am I to step into this calling, you might ask, echoing the words of Moses when God called him to liberate his people from Egypt. But just as Moses doubted, so too do you, questioning your worth, your abilities, and whether you have what it takes to fulfill the divine mandate that burns within you. Fear and doubt do not announce their presence with a shout. They are the quiet voices that gnaw at your confidence, the shadows that loom over your heart in the stillness of night. You find yourself standing on the brink of a moment that could change lives. Perhaps you're about to speak truth to a crowd or make a decision that will ripple through eternity. Just as you prepare to step forward, doubt slithers into your mind. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? The weight of these thoughts bears down on you like chains, and the world around you blurs, your vision clouded by the fog of self-doubt. But then a spark ignites within you, a remembrance of Gideon, the mighty warrior who, despite his doubts, was chosen by God to save Israel. Gideon, who saw himself as the least in his family, was transformed by divine power into a leader of men. As this truth settles in your spirit, the chains of doubt begin to loosen, and a surge of divine confidence floods your being. The atmosphere around you shifts, and what was once a blur of uncertainty now sharpens into a clear vision of your purpose. The crowd before you is no longer a faceless mass, but a sea of souls waiting for the words God has placed in your mouth. This is not just your moment. It is a divine appointment, orchestrated by the Almighty to fulfill His will. Fear has no place here. It is time to break free from the shackles that have held you back, to trust fully in the spirit of power, love, and sound mind that God has given you. Fear is a lie, and doubt is its accomplice, both designed to keep you from your destiny. But you are chosen, and it is time to walk in the fullness of your calling with unwavering faith. To be chosen is not a mere designation. It is a divine mandate that demands your entire being. Your life must be one of relentless purpose, unwavering vigilance, and constant readiness. The chosen life is not a passive existence where you simply wait for God's will to unfold. It is an active pursuit of His commands, a daily battle where your spirit must be prepared to respond without hesitation. This is the life you are called to, one where every moment is a test, every decision a step closer to fulfilling the divine purpose etched into your very soul. Recall the parable of the 10 virgins in Matthew chapter 25. 10 awaited the bridegroom, but only 5 were wise enough to be prepared. The wise virgins, with extra oil in their lamps, were ready when the bridegroom arrived, while the foolish were left scrambling, unprepared, and ultimately shut out from the feast. This parable is not just a story, it is a stark warning to you. Are you like the wise virgins, prepared for your divine appointment? Or have you allowed the distractions of this world to deplete your oil, leaving you in darkness when the moment of truth arrives? The chosen do not stumble into their destiny. They are prepared, vigilant, and ready when the call comes. You might find yourself driven by your own ambitions, speeding down the road of life, chasing dreams and desires that seem all too important. But then, the road splits. One path leads to the continuation of your plans, and the other demands total surrender to God. This is the crossroads every chosen one must face. To surrender is not a defeat, but the ultimate act of obedience, the only way to truly step into the fullness of your calling. It requires courage, the kind that burns within, consuming every doubt and fear, leaving only the purity of faith. Now is the time to embrace the life you were chosen for. Develop a daily practice of seeking God's guidance with the fervor of a warrior in battle. Cultivate perseverance, knowing that the road is not easy but necessary. Surrender your plans, your desires, and your will to the divine purpose that calls you. This is not a suggestion, it is a command. Your destiny hinges on your willingness to live as the chosen, prepared and vigilant, ready to respond when the call echoes through the corridors of your soul. The cost of being chosen is a weight that cannot be ignored, a burden that demands the sacrifice of personal desires, ambitions, and even the relationships you hold dear. This is not a calling for the faint of heart or those seeking comfort. It is a divine commission that requires everything you have. Jesus himself warned about this in Luke chapter 14, verse 28, asking who among you would begin building a tower without first counting the cost, lest you lay the foundation and are unable to complete it. The chosen life is not about starting the race. It's about finishing it, no matter the price. You may find yourself at a crossroads where the decision before you could cost you dearly: a close friendship, a lucrative career opportunity, or the approval of those you hold in high regard. The tension is not just in your mind, it permeates your very soul. You know what God is asking of you, and it is not an easy ask. The weight of the sacrifice presses down on you like a mountain, crushing every ounce of comfort you might have clung to. Yet amid this overwhelming pressure, there is a flicker of something greater, a peace that defies logic, a reassurance that can only come from knowing you are walking in obedience to the Creator of all things. As you decide to walk away from what the world would consider valuable, a profound sense of divine approval washes over you. It's as if God Himself is walking beside you, affirming your choice with every step you take. This is not merely a feeling, it is a spiritual reality, the very essence of being chosen. The world may not understand your decision, and the loss may seem unbearable in the moment, but you know deep within that you are on the path God has set before you. This path is not paved with the accolades of men, but with the footprints of the saints who have gone before you, those who left everything to follow the call, knowing that the reward is not of this world. Remember the apostles, who left behind their nets, their livelihoods, and their families to follow Jesus. They did not do so because it was easy, or because it made sense in the eyes of the world. They did so because they understood the cost and were willing to pay it. The cost is real. It's as real as the blood, sweat, and tears you will shed along the way. But the reward, oh, the reward, is far greater than anything this world could offer. It is the eternal impact you will make, the lives you will touch, the souls you will bring into the kingdom of God. And at the end of it all, when you stand before the throne, you will hear the words that every chosen one longed to hear. Well done, good and faithful servant. Do not shy away from the cost. Embrace it with the knowledge that what you are sacrificing is nothing compared to the glory that awaits. The path of the chosen is not easy, but it is the only path worth taking. You have been called not just to exist, but to make an impact that echoes into eternity. This is your calling, this is your cost, and this, chosen one, is your destiny. The time to rise is now. You stand on the edge of a precipice where hesitation and complacency no longer have a place. The race set before you is not a casual jog, but a divine marathon, marked out by the hand of God Himself. Every trial and every struggle you've faced has been training for this moment. You are not ill-equipped or unprepared. God has already placed within you the strength, wisdom, and endurance needed to succeed. But make no mistake, the choice to run is yours and yours alone. You must cast off every distraction, tear down every stronghold of fear, obliterate doubt, and crush every temptation that dares to stand in your way. Your divine appointment awaits, and the time for delay has passed. Consider not a starting line in a simple race, but a battlefield where God Himself holds the banner high, signaling your time to charge forward. You've been called, chosen, and set apart, and now you stand ready. The question is not whether you have what it takes. The real question is whether you will choose to run. Will you fix your eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of your faith, and sprint towards the victory that has been promised to you since before time began, according to Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2? Or will you allow the chains of doubt and fear to drag you back into mediocrity? The calling on your life is not a suggestion. It is a command from the Almighty, and it's not too late to reclaim what is rightfully yours. God's gifts and His call are irrevocable. No mistake, no misstep, no detour has disqualified you from the race. The path ahead may be treacherous, fraught with challenges that will test the very core of your being, but the prize is worth every ounce of effort. Every step you take in faith brings you closer to the fulfillment of the destiny God has designed specifically for you. The victory is yours to claim, but you must reach out and take it. Do not allow fear or doubt to steal what God has ordained for you. The race is on, the flag has been raised, and the time to move is now. Run with all that you are and do not look back. Close your eyes now, and as we join in prayer, ask God to reignite the fire within your spirit. This is not a mere ritual, but a powerful plea for divine intervention. Call upon the Almighty to shatter every chain of fear that has bound you, to crush every doubt that has held you back, and to illuminate the path that leads to the fullness of your divine destiny. This moment is pivotal, a crossroads where you decide whether to step boldly into the purpose for which you were created, or to shrink back into the shadows of hesitation and regret. You are not here by accident. You have been chosen, set apart by God Himself, for a purpose that transcends the mundane. The road ahead will be fraught with challenges, but it is a road that leads to eternal significance. The time for excuses has ended. The time for action is now. Rise up, chosen one, and claim the destiny that has been prepared for you since the foundation of the world. The obstacles you face are nothing compared to the power of God that resides within you. As you step forward, know that God walks with you, His hand guiding your every move. The path may be steep, the climb arduous, but every step brings you closer to the victory that is already yours in Christ. You were born for this moment, crafted for this purpose. Do not let it pass you by. Now share your story. Your testimony has the power to inspire others, to set ablaze the hearts of those who hear it. Your voice matters. Speak out, and let the world know what God has done in your life and what He is about to do.